Hey guys, deadbydawn93 here, back to do a review. The movie that I'm going to be reviewing is the sequel to the infamous pseudo-snuff film August Underground, and it is August Underground's Mordum. And for people who are not familiar with the series, I'm going to give a little bit of a history. Basically, August Underground is basically a trilogy of fake snuff films that were done by Fred Vogel and his company Toe Tag, which is an amazing makeup effects company and special effects company. And basically the whole film is basically Fred, and basically he's just out. It's basically just footage of him and his friends basically killing people. The first film just has Fred and the cameraman, and and then the second film involves Fred, his girlfriend Krusty, and her little brother Maggot. Let me see. There's a picture of them, all three of them, right there. You guys can see it. Yeah, this is the DVD of it, by the way. I can't really show off a lot of what's on this DVD because I don't know how much I can show, but I'll just show off the front cover. But basically, the whole film is basically just a series of like disturbing images and disturbing scenes of basically just them torturing and killing people. And it's probably one of the most disturbing movies that I think I've ever seen. It's gory, graphic. There's so much stuff into it. I don't want to spoil anything, but I want to go into. I do want to go into some of the gory, graphic scenes into it because I know that people who watch reviews of movies like this want to know what the movie's about and want to know. Want to know the gory scenes. So if you don't want to know any of the gory stuff, then you can go ahead and just cut this off right now. But basically the movie opens, and there's one scene where you actually see Maggot and Krusty having sex, and Fred is very bothered by this because it turns out that Maggot and Krusty are actually brother and sister, and he's very bothered by it, and he basically just he calls her a fucking whore, and he calls her all this horrible shit, and then basically she ends up, he follows her down to the basement, and she gets this knife and starts cutting herself, and that ends up turning her on. This whole movie basically is a very, very demented sexual, a lot of very demented sexual things are going on in the film. There's one scene where they open up this box and they actually have a woman in there, and she has this, paper bag and a tape around her face, and basically they're just out there, and the guy Maggot pretty much rapes her. And then there's a scene of they actually have her boyfriend in another one, and they basically tell him that they give him a pair of these mustache scissors, like little scissors that you use to trim your mustaches with. And they basically tell him that they're going to kill his girlfriend unless he castrates himself. He does, and it actually does show him castrate. You actually see him cutting off his penis. And then they basically abuse his girlfriend with his chopped off dick. It's pretty fucked up. Some other gore stuff. There's also a scene where they kidnap these two girls, and Krusty they're pretty much puking all over them and everything, while Fred and Maggot, they jerk off, and it's a pretty disgusting scene. See what else? There's a lot of really disgusting things, but one thing that I really liked about it is that instead of a lot of people would see these people as like mindless serial killers, but in the film, one thing that is really cool is that the characters actually go through character development, and you watch them change, which for an exploitation gore film, I think that's very cool and very effective. Like basically there's one scene that I remember where Fred and Krusty, his girlfriend, like I said, they get into this argument about him wanting to date. They just get into this argument about he thinks it's so fucked up of how that she's fucking his brother. She's fucking her brother, and you're sitting there and you're kind of like, well, that's kind of it's weird of how that they do all this fucked up shit, and then they're sort of like, oh, this is horrible. Like there's one scene where they go into a junkie's house because the guy owes Fred money, and you actually see the guy just laying there, and he's pretty much passed out with a syringe in his arm, and he pretty much just puked all over himself. It's really, really gross and stuff like that, and it brings a lot of realisticness to it. Instead of just being these people as just being like mindless killers, they actually do have, like, you actually realize that they have a lot of feeling and a lot of everything. Like, there's one scene that I think is kind of an emotional scene where Maggot is in the bathtub. I mean, Maggot is in the bathroom, and he's really really sad and upset because he looks at himself as being a very ugly person, and he wants to look beautiful. He wants to show his sister that he's beautiful when she holds him and everything like that. And that was kind of a touching moment. But and you sort of have sympathy for him. But then in the next scene, they break into this person's house, and you actually see him raping this girl in the bathtub. And when you see it, you actually she looks really young. I'm not sure if she's under 18 or not. I'm not sure how old she was in the film. This is all, you know, all the sex in this movie is simulated, by the way. It's all fake. But you're just sitting there and just like, wow, this is really fucked up. I mean, there's really messed up shit in this movie. But at the same time, these people are very, you can really tell that, you know, they're still people like everyone else. And how that it's realistic in a way that this could be anybody. You know, this could really be just a guy that you see, you know, walking on the street. He could have people like stashed away in his basement torturing him and shit. And that's what I really like about the August Underground trilogy, is that it's very realistic, and of how that it shows them as humans and not as just like mindless killers. Like, there's also one scene where they actually go and they're at this serial killer's house, or they go visit another killer, and he has like dead bodies hanging all over his walls. He has body parts and everything. And they're all over there, and they're actually getting sick and puking because of the smell. And that really adds to it, because whenever you see a horror movie and you see dead bodies everywhere, the killer never reacts to it in a human way. They're over here, like, you usually see them like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna cut this person up and whatever. Like in other horror films I've seen, but in this movie, when you actually see them puking and see them being sick by it, it brings a lot more realisticness, because you're like, yeah, people would really puke because this stuff is probably really, it's probably smells really bad. It's really disgusting, and that's one thing I liked it. There's also I'm trying to think about other gore scenes. There's also another scene where they cut this woman open, and the guy Maggot sticks his dick into her stomach and fucks it. It's pretty disgusting. That's pretty much most of the gore stuff. I don't want to give too much away. The rest of the film is basically just randomness scenes. Like, there's one scene where they get these masks on and they go into this video rental store, and they pretend they're gonna rob the place, but they don't have a gun. They're just messing with the guy that is in there and everything. And I couldn't help but notice how awesome the video store was. Like, there was posters. There was like a Halloween poster up there. There was a zombie poster in the back, and it just looked really cool. And wow, and even though they're like, oh, this is funny, I'm kind of like, man, I really want to go to that video store because that store looks awesome. And there's like t-shirts and shit. And then there's also random stuff with them like playing in the snow. There's a scene where Maggot gets his nose pierced at this random tattoo artist place, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty much home movies of what a serial killer would be. But like I said, this is you know, really great film. Like I said, this was put out by Toe Tag Pictures. If you don't know anything about them, please check them out, because they are an amazing makeup effect. They have pretty much some of the best special effects I've ever seen in a movie, and this is so realistic. This I got this DVD from Amazon. I love that disc artwork, by the way. This is a drawn-on cover of the woman just upside down, and then told her I love that. But I got this off Amazon for 20 bucks. It's expensive, but it's really worth it. These movies, they tend to have love and hate things. Like, some people love them, some people hate them. I love the film for what it is. I think it's a really great work of art. And by art, I mean it's supposed to be. I know people say this is shocking, this is disturbing, this ain't art, but it's supposed to be shocking. It's supposed to disturb you. And when a movie affects me in some way, if I see a film that affects me, like if a movie's supposed to be sad, if it makes me sad, then I like the film for it, because I know that the movie did what it was made out to do. And this movie is supposed to disturb you and supposed to gross you out, and I think it does. You know, and that's what I really like about it. So, If you have not seen August Underground's Mordum, I highly recommend it. I also highly recommend the first and third one, but I just want to say, if you're not a fan of, if you have not seen that many disturbing films, and I would recommend watching something else before you watch this. If you're a fan of like huge die-hard gore, you know, very disturbing, violent films, then these should be at the top of your list. But if you are, you know, if you're more into like just stalker films, or if you're more into, you know, movies that have scare effects, and you're not that big into disturbing films, then I would not recommend these films, because these films will do it for you. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed my review for August Underground's Mordum. I hope to be doing another review maybe tonight or tomorrow, but either way, guys, thanks everyone for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I will see you guys later. Bye.